Hello, my name is David. I'm a violinist by training, but now nearly 80 I repair violins. Kids drop them and I mend them. But the music you're listening to, the Bach Double Violin Concerto, is known to most violinists at some time in their life. Very affectionate memories I have of it as well. Less affectionate are the memories I have of picking up my violin on a damp morning and trying to coax it into life, or a violin I've not used for a while, or a violin that's had a soundpost reset or a new bridge, generally out of sorts. And I think every violinist who knows the Bach Double will also sympathise with me about the state of their violins or cellos or violas or double basses. There are just certain times when nothing except playing can bring back their resonance, and of course string instruments really do need to be played. But if you're a dealer, for example, if you've got 20 violins in your shop, you can't play them all every day. And equally, if you're a collector or just somebody who's looking after a violin for someone else or sentimental value inherited, what do you do to keep it playing? Well, about 20 years ago I started work on what I called the Acoustic Enhancer. It was a Mark I, Mark II then, and the Mark II sold for about 250 copies all around the world. And you can see the results of the feedback on my website violinman.co.uk, and I sold those for about 20 years. A bit cluggy. The motors were obsolete by the time I started using them, and the supply gradually dried up. Incidentally, I use a motor in my acoustic enhancers, a slow revving motor from a computer fan. Now, if the American Tone Right unit, which on my website I've done some comparisons, uses a buzzer, I think. An armature between two poles excited by electricity, and that buzzes. Mine is a motor from a computer fan, slightly offloaded so that it runs eccentrically with a lead weight, and so it vibrates very gently, and it gives me a very smooth vibration which I can alter by the voltage of the power supply. Here's the kind of power supply I use. It's got voltages on the back, 3 to 12 volts DC, for a universal AC input of 100 to 250 volts. Switch mode power supply, works anywhere in the world, and I've only ever suffered 2 losses through unreliability with this in 250 Mark IIs I've sold. Here's a violin. This is a modern one. This is a new Chinese violin, the sort of thing I supply to students. I put new strings on, a new bow, but this is basically it. Pretty dead. Let me show you what I'm doing. Here's my acoustic enhancer for the violin. In fact, it's switched on at the moment. You won't hear very much from it. Inside there is a rotating motor. There we are. Very gently. And these fan motors run for thousands of hours in computers gently. I'll put the top on, I don't want to nip my fingers. And that runs for 3 to 5 days at a time. And it simply sits on the bridge like a mute. Now normally I would secure it with a rubber band there under the bridge and back again, just to stop it wandering off, but in fact it's running off quite a low voltage at the moment. You may just be able to hear the hum. The slight rattle you hear is the lead vibrating against any of the metalwork, in this case the fine tuners. And so I would put this on a new violin or a violin I've been working on, and I'd leave it for 3 to 5 days And what I would find is, if I put my fingers around the bridge area at the start of the treatment, you'll feel very little as the wood livens up, loosens up inside. Then the fibres start to vibrate much more easily. At the end of 3 to 5 days, that violin, or the cello, or the viola, or double bass even, is really worth playing, and it resonates beautifully. Now, this is the Mark IV vibrator. I've just finished designing this and making them. I 3D printed the casework. There's what I call an adapter on the bottom that sits on the violin bridge quite gently. And I've made different sizes of adapters. That's one for a double bass, but it uses the same motor in the top, and miraculously, although the motor is quite lightweight, not a lot of power, it'll still excite and energize a double bass over 3 to 5 days. I've done it on the bench here. This is a cello I got in for repair to demonstrate. So it's the Mark IV-A, small motor, cello adapter. And on the bottom I've put 2 anchor plates. Now these are rather special. If you can see, they sandwich the bridge, and they're connected together through the hole in the middle of the bridge by a nylon bolt with a wing nut. I made it nylon because quite often you drop one into the F hole and it won't damage anything. Now, if I turn it around, you'll be able to see the sandwich effect. You see one plate, the bridge, and then the other plate there. And the effect of that is to nip the ends of the fingers from the adapter, just a gentle thing, so that the vibration is much more secure now. The violin adapters fit the bridges pretty well, but there's quite a large tolerance on cello bridges and double bass. People ask me, how long should I use? Well, you can use up to 3 to 5 days. You can actually use them indefinitely, keep them going, but maximum advantage probably is 3 to 5 days, and take it away, play it, use it, and come back 3 to 6 months later and do the same again. No damage. So there we are. A whole set of vibrators, Mark IV A and B. The A is the small one, or the lightweight one. I call it the lightweight one, but in fact it works very well indeed. And the B, which is the heavier motor, the Pabst German motor. Of course, these motors are good for 25,000 hours in computers. So I've never had a motor actually die in use. All the details are on my website, www.violinman.co.uk. Ordering details, look for Acoustic Enhancer Mark IV, PayPal or no PayPal, doesn't matter, or bank transfer. Any questions, please send me an email and I will try to answer them. All the research details are on the paper, on the website. I did them for the Mark II. Good, thanks a lot. And oh, hang on. Coming up to a lovely bit of music. This is the bit I love in here. Hang on.